Vroom, 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 vroom. Honk, honk. Get in, losers. We're going struggling. Vroom, 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 vroom. Hello, friends, and welcome to another Ride in the Struggle Bus, where every wheel is an empty triangle. Today, we have another tournament report for you. I got to play in another local tournament. It was a two-day event. I only got to play in the first day, so only 3 rounds, but they were really fun games. I recorded them all, and so we can show them to you. I didn't get any pictures of my opponents. I completely forgot this time. So round 1, we get to play against another 1K player. We get white this game. Our opponent's name is Axis. He seemed like a really cool guy with a really cool name, and it was a fun game. So hopefully you guys enjoy it. And as per always, I'd like to thank our opponent for playing us today. I'd like to thank you guys for watching these videos, and I'd like to thank my Patreon subscribers for supporting the channel. So let's go get into round 1 of this tournament. Okay, so here we go. We are white against a 1K, and we are, even though we're white, we're going to be doing some dragon enclosure. So we're going to start with a 3-3 here, and then we're going to go play the 5-3 into the 6-3. Although you know, it's very possible for black to go play something like, you know, R4 right now, R3. So I don't necessarily get the enclosure, but black did decide to enclose the his corner instead, and so that is obviously fine for us. So now we're going to go take the dragon enclosure, and we can see what our opponent wants to do about this. It's an interesting thing, right? It's like, what do you do? Do you just kind of ignore it? Do you just go after it immediately? And so he goes and takes the double wing off of the 3-4 extension here, and that makes sense, right? This was probably a point that we both kind of wanted. So now I probably want to look at something over here, and so, you know, we can look at the 3-3, we can look at the, you know, the small knight's approach, and a lot of this is kind of play style, right? Do we want to do Moyo versus Moyo, right? Grow ours, let him grow his. Do we want to go break in to stop that from happening? Do we want to go take the corner? And here, I don't like it when my opponent gets big Moyos, so I'm going to go break in on this side just to stop the huge Moyo from forming. Of course, our opponent can just pincer us if that's something he wants to do to develop, but I think I'll be fine either way with however he goes, and he does choose to pincer. That is fine. We could consider jumping out, right? If we play here, black will back off, and then we go and shoulder hit this, move out. We get a lot of influence that way. For those of you who don't know that variation, we can jump, and then black will play one of these two. We'll press this stone, we'll push, black will push, we'll push, black will typically jump, and then we would go and make the knight's move here. And so this gives black, you know, some firm points, gives us some good influence. That is a way we could go. Or we could just jump into the corner. And I think that's what I'm going to do here. So I'm going to just jump into the corner. Black will most likely disconnect our stones, but black could play d17. He does go for the disconnection. That's fine. We will go extend. I'm sure black will extend as well now. Black does. We will come back. We will threaten to connect to our c14 stone. Black is pretty much obligated to block. Black does. We will connect, which threatens the cut. Black will typically block with either b14 or c15 here, and he does go with c15, and that allows us to get this jump. So this gets us a pretty solid corner, gets black some good influence. Black can Tanuki here, and I suspect that he will. Maybe now is the time to go after the 3-3 stone, or maybe he'll go jump after the dragon. Okay, but he decides to take this, and that is fine. That is one of the continuations that I see sometimes. I usually prefer just to Tanuki from this, but this is obviously a pretty large move. And so now black is still looking to form the Moyo, and that made sense, right? I jumped in to kind of try to break it up, and he said, no, I still want to take this area. So I still want to break this up before it gets too much. And this stone has a good amount of Aji. as is. So we could play something over here, maybe leverage on the fact that we've got some aji here with this cut here. So yeah, so let's go. We could look at something like this, or we could just look at the shoulder hit. Shoulder hit's pretty simple, right? We don't need to save this stone. We just need it to be annoying. Just need its existence to be annoying. So we are going to play the shoulder hit here. Hopefully black will play d12 to block, but I highly doubt black will. That's a very inefficient move. And so this is not surprising at all. So we can extend to d10. That seems reasonable. Or we could play something like e13, eyeing to potentially try to connect with this stone, or looking at this cut. I think both are pretty valid. But let's go start with this move here. Again, this just kind of uses the annoyance of that stone there. So if black tries to cut at d12, then we could extend to e14. Right, if black were to play here, we could extend, and this connects to this stone and threatens this cut. So it's a little annoying for black there. So let's see what our friend does. Our friend covers here. That is fine. We can push, gets good shape for this stone, threatens to connect. Black is pretty obligated to cut at this point, I believe, and black does. And so now we can go threaten this cut, right? If we play e14, if white captures, then we get to cut off this stone, which would be pretty huge. So we're gonna do this. It seems pretty reasonable. Now black plays here. Yeah, I guess I kind of missed that. It's a very natural response. And now this is sente, because if we capture the stone, black can push through. And when we block, black gets an Atari on this stone. And if we extend, black will capture the E18 stone. So to show that, if we captured, black would extend. We would play here, black would get this Atari. And if we play here, black gets this Atari. And the whole corner dies. So we actually have to come back and play something like this. And this is a pretty bad result for us. So we cannot do that with black playing here. So unfortunately, we just have to extend. But this is okay, right? It strengthens the corner, but it really weakens these stones. Now a move like d10's gonna be pretty big. A move like g12 is pretty big. So we're potentially, yeah, this makes sense. We're potentially in a little bit of trouble, but we'll be able to reduce this later. For now, let's just let's run out with these stones nice and quickly, kind of get in and get out, and see what black wants to do. Again, black could now approach, black could extend, black could play something over here. Black has some good options on this. This one I find to be very surprising. I don't think black actually needed to capture there. Black was already connected. So that's really good for us. That's really good for us. So now we can look at a few things. We're always going to care about strength groups. We're always going to care about potential on the board. And there's a lot of potential in the upper right. There's a lot of potential on the lower left. But I believe the upper right is probably a little bit larger, right? If we look at this quadrant, we've already got 3 stones over here. If we look at this quadrant, we only have 1. So let's go extend off this stone. That's the kind of the downside of the 3/3 stone. It's a little awkward to extend off of, right? If we're going to make an extension, I'd much rather this be a 3/4 stone, but that's fine. That is fine. So I think I'm going to play this. It looks to develop this side. It looks to potentially develop here. Seems reasonable to me. I suspect black's probably going to want to jump in over here pretty soon to break up what's going there. Okay, so black's going to attack these stones. That seems fine. But this is kind of already a broken shape, right? We already have a stone here, so I'm pretty sure we can just cut immediately. And interestingly, these 4 stones can actually be sacrificed. They're not terribly important right now, especially if it means cutting this stone off. So I don't think I want to play something like this to go connect to these stones. These stones really don't have much value right now. So I think I'm just going to play here. This is a nice shape move anyway. When you have these two stones and the diagonal here, this is a good shape move as it is, and this puts some pressure on this stone, which gives us a target. We can use that to get strength here, maybe develop over here. So seems reasonable. Okay, so he plays the wedge. Well, we're likely going to Atari this, and so then the question is, do we want to connect here or connect here? And I think connecting to this side makes much more sense. It's the weaker side. This stone has some friends already, so we're going to play this Atari, and I'm sure black's going to connect. And then I think we're just going to connect here. I think this makes sense. I'm not too concerned about the J15 cut, because then we just extends to H16. We're connected there. Everything's fine here. Yeah, let's go play this. This seems perfectly reasonable. Now we've got a nice strong group here. And black has this really awkward stone. Black plays here to make sure that we don't connect to those stones. But those stones really weren't important. They really don't affect much of this game. Black was already alive here. So from a strength perspective, not a very, this doesn't give black's group any more strength, and from a potential standpoint, it really doesn't do much. Also, it's not Sente. We're still not worried about this cut, and I'm not worried about H16 either, because this upper left group is alive by itself. So if black plays here and then connects, we can just go turn and kill this stone. So I don't think we need to do anything here. So I think we can snooky this, and so we can look at further developing the right side, or breaking it over here. I'm going to stay consistent with how I've been playing this one. I'm going to keep on breaking up our friends' territories. So we could look at playing the attachment here, making the exchange, and then maybe jumping over here. We could look at something like H3. But you want to know what? We have a group to run to up here, so maybe it's better to play on the fourth line here. Gives us more room to run here. Sure, let's go do that, because now if black plays under, we can just run up to these three stones. Though I think we probably could have successfully played H3 as well. Okay, so now the question is, how greedy am I? Do we think we can get away with H3 right here? Or do we think we should just go and... The issue with this is I feel like we secure too much for black here. I think I want to play H3 because it might force black to extend. And if black runs up, we can run up pretty quickly. Again, we've got these three stones that we can run to. So you want to know what? Let's go a little greedy. We'll play here. We can also potentially follow this up with F3, which it's a really strong shape. It's actually pretty quick to make life from that if we get F3 and then G2. So that's something we could consider. Black plays here, or we can consider jumping out. So we've got a few options. We can just play something simple like F3, looking to get G2, which almost guarantees life. We can look at the attachment at D4, and then assuming black blocks, we could play E3 and try to get a base that way, or we can just go and jump really quickly. So that's that's kind of what I'm looking at. Though if we're going to do this, I almost wonder if we should take the peep first and then go take the jump, because I don't really see myself peeping from this side. Sure, let's go do this. We'll take the peep. I have to assume black will block, and now we can play here with much more strength. Again, the goal here is probably just to connect to these three stones. It's probably the easiest way to do it. Okay, so black's looking to cut us here. That's fine. We can just extend to connect. I might also want to just take this. I'm unsure. It does come in Sente, and it's kind of double Sente, right? If black plays here, we're forced to connect. So sure, let's go play this first. Get black to connect, and then we will play J6 to connect well. though with black playing here, J2 is just completely free. So let's just take this immediately. That this is just a free move. I think black probably should have either descended or connected, because this just seems like an okay exchange for us now. And yeah, I'm going to play J6 to connect to this. And again, we're kind of looking to connect here, though things might get a little dicey. Though we can look at the Hane running out this way. We still have some shenanigans over here, maybe. So black looks to block this way. And so the question is, are we going to continue running? Or do we want to try to make a base with some interaction over here? Let's start over here. I think we're going to lose our timing pretty quickly if we don't get this right now. I fully suspect black to play c4. I really don't think there's anything else to consider. And now I'm going to play here. And so now black has a decision. If black plays here, we can Atari and then push up, which most likely cuts off the stone. If black connects, we can maybe look at something like e6. And then we always just have the quick extension to go connect as well. Okay, so black does connect, and so I think I'm just gonna leave this here for now, right? Acknowledging that if black cuts, we get the Atari, so we can kind of get some free forcing moves. We could look at something like e5, but then this stone just runs out. So I think what we need to do is to stop this stone from running out. So maybe a move like f7, e7, e6. These are probably all the moves I'm going to consider. Just get some more strength. Again, the goal is just to connect to these stones. So yeah, let's go play e7. This moves nice and quickly. It looks to threaten to reduce what black's going on the left side, and I think we'll be fine if black tries to cut, because then we naturally end up surrounding the g5 stone. So black plays d6. So we have another similar question of how greedy can we be? And so the question is, are we going to play something like e6? We're going to play something like d7. And I still think we're fine playing this, right? If I was fine with this extension, I think we're fine with this. Because there's still some Aji over here, and so if we get strength here, it could be a little annoying. This is safer, but then black just gets to extend, get some good fourth line territory. I don't think we want black to get that. So let's go fight potentially. Let's see how much black is going to push back on this. Okay, so black plays here, which stops our main. That was our main path for life there. And so now that we can't reliably connect to these stones and we're blocked here, I think we need to live here. And so I think I'm going to play the other move we were considering and look to get life here. So let's see if we can make it work. This stone's kind of awkwardly placed. It's already at what looks like a vital point, but there's a lot of room here, and there's a lot of room for us to grow. So so black tanukis. Yeah, I think that's fine timing, right? If black also thinks that we're just alive here, then this is absolutely a big move to play. Yeah, we probably are done over here. We could maybe look at a move like d5 to firm things up. We could look at e2 as well. But yeah, I think this group's probably alive as is. We've just got so much room to move. I think it'll be okay. So probably am going to respond to this. Maybe we could do something like m15 to really build the top. That's a possibility. We could look at playing to stop the extension from this side, or playing here to stop the extension from this side. And I think these two stones are a little weaker than these two, especially considering we've got this huge black wall here. So I think I'm just going to play here. Just take this small extension, get us a little stronger here. Black will most likely end up responding to this. Black does not respond to it. Black looks to stop the cut there. That's fine. I don't think that's where I would have played, but that is okay. I now wonder if we need to protect this cut, though. Because if black Atari's here and then extends, now our stones are starting to get surrounded. And these stones do seem fairly important because there is still a cut here. We can still extend over here. So yeah, I'm going to protect this cut. I think this move was probably played as a means to get more strength so that this group can get weaker. So never mind. I think that is a fine move. Okay, so now our friend attaches to our 3/3 stone. We're going to respond to this because we respond to attachments. So we've got 4 moves to consider. We can extend to Q17. We can extend to S17. We can play the Hane. We can play the Hane. Here, I think I just want to stay strong, though, because I've got 016 there. So we can look at I think we're going to look at one of the 2 extensions. And I'm looking at S17. I don't think black can cut here because then we can, or Hane rather, because then we can just cut. I think this stone will end up dying. So that seems fine. Let's go play S17 and just go claim a pretty big corner. This group is going to, this move also hurts the base of this group quite a bit. And if black wants to play S16, then we get the Hane, and that's just fantastic. So black bumps into our stone. This is really the only move we can consider here, and this is the move I'm going to play. I don't see any reason to play any other move. I'm sure black is going to connect now, at which point we can play Q17. That's an interesting move. That is not one I was expecting. That was not on my bingo card. So do we just extend and break it apart, or do we go Atari and break through here? I think that's probably better, right? Take the Atari and push through. Because he's going to have a lot of weak stones here. Yeah, let's go do this, because now this stone's probably dead. I don't know what his plan with N16 is, and then he's going to be extending that. He did not extend that. Am I going to say no to a Panuki? Probably not. I'm probably not going to say no to a Panuki, though we could consider N17. But I still want to attack these stones if I can. Yeah, I'm just going to take the Panuki. All right, this pretty much all but guarantees that this stone's dead, and this stone is going to be in trouble. I won't be surprised if black wants to jump. If black does jump, takes a large jump, we could almost go and cut that right now if we wanted to. But I think we're okay for now. So the question is, are we going to, play something like P6 to grow our corner, or Q5? Are we going to play something like N17 or L17 to build the top? Do we want to do something over here? I think I'm going to do something over here. Maybe try to turn on some more Aji, see if we can get something more meaningful over here. And then afterwards, see if we can come back to over here. So what do we want to do? We could consider attaching here. We can consider attaching here. We can consider attaching here. Or just jumping, or taking this Atari. Lots of options. So I'm really looking at playing this wedge. It threatens the Atari, so I think black needs to do something. And then it also generates some more eye space for us, and gives us the opportunity to jump into something like B8. So let's go play this. I suspect black is just going to extend, and black does extend. So now we can look at something like B8 or D5, but you want to know what? Since we have both of those as options to get us some more eye space, I don't think we need to necessarily follow this up. So let's go back, play the other option we were considering, which was fortifying our corner, and play this. I've done some quick counting, and I think we are ahead by a fair amount right now. So I think playing a simpler game and just closing things out should get us there, which was why I came back to play q5. And now black plays here. Yeah, that's totally reasonable. Um, that was the other move that we were considering, but I do think this is bigger. But let's go protect this again now with K17 here. This H16 cut gets turned back on. So let's go fix that cut. And I think the best way to fix it is just the attachment here. Gives us the nice table shape, which cannot be cut, right? If black wants to play here, we cut, and then this stone already nets that stone. So it's good shape there if you're looking to not get cut. Okay, and so now black's going to come reduce us. Perfectly fine. Yep, I am fine with not getting, making this group stronger. Of course, we want to make sure that black doesn't get too much in the center here. That's really probably the only way that black can get back in this game. Okay, so black attaches. So just like up top, we've got 4 moves to consider. We can consider P2, P4, O2, O4. If we don't want black to build a lot here, then it probably makes sense to just take this Hane. If black descends, we descend. If black Hanes, we get the Atari into the Atari. Yeah, let's go do this. Our corner can get a little more reduced now. Maybe he can lead in with something like Q3. But this is really the only potential black has left on the board. So if we're able to reduce that, then that's fine. Okay, so he takes the Hane here. So I wonder if he's looking to come take the corner. But that's probably just a fair trade, right? If he comes and takes the corner and then I completely break this up. I think that seems reasonable. Because I still think we're ahead. Because we've got a good amount of points in this corner. The side here, this side, we're going to get some points in the side here. We've got points here. And all black's going to have is just a handful of points in the corner. A good amount of points here, and then this corner, but we're still... If my counting is accurate, we are still ahead. So I'm just going to go take this Atari. And I fully expect he's going to play Q3. He did not play Q3. That's interesting. That's interesting. Well, we're going to take that option away from him. I wonder if he's going to play this and ladder this stone. That's probably what he's looking at. But that is not what he did. That is not what he did. Okay. So he's definitely looking to build the center. So we should probably do something with that. But I don't think it's going to be enough. I don't think it's going to be enough to get there. From an endgame perspective, N2 is really big because that fixes the ladder problem. So we're probably pretty quickly getting to endgame. We can look at S13 as a means to capture this stone. We can look at B8, E2. Yeah, let's go focus over here. This is probably the weakest group on the board. So let's go take the Atari, and then we'll probably just descend, or we'll fix at E4. So he plays the Hane, so we can capture. Then he gets the Atari, and so just like every other tournament game that I've played, right? The whole hindsight is 2020 thing. I actually wonder if I got the turn order wrong here, because I'm really surprised I didn't end up taking this stone, and I'm really surprised I didn't, because it seems big, and I may have been worried about this Atari. But we can just let that happen, and if black captures, then we can just extend here. And the stone is cleanly captured, and this turns into an eye because black can't play here because it's a self-Atari. And it's very possible that I just simply missed this. I thought I was well ahead, so maybe I got a little sloppy here. I also may have gotten the turn order wrong when I recorded, but I don't think that's the case. But I am quite surprised that I did not take that stone, but I did not capture that stone. I instead played here. So we play here, looking to either play F2 or capture that stone, and we'll go play F2. It's a pretty easy move. Threatens to capture E2. Okay, so now Um, this cut works, maybe? Does it work? Yeah, the cut works for black, but that's honestly that's fine. We're still alive. I think reducing over here or in the center is larger. So I'm just going to go push here. Black can take this cut if black wants. But now we can, we're just really heavily reducing the side. That's all. Okay, black takes the Hane. Seems fine. Uh, I want to take this, but I'm unsure. I don't think it works. Because black gets the Atari and then connects. Yeah, so we'll just extend. We'll make the bamboo joint. This is fine, even if it loses a handful of points. We're okay. We're okay over here, even if black pushes. Okay, so now black is looking to firm up the territory here, and that we probably should have broken into this earlier, but that's okay. I think we're still in a really good position in this game. So how do we want to handle this now? We still have this cut that's really annoying, so maybe just dealing with that. So we could look at bumping here. We can just look at fixing the cut directly. Let's just fix the cut directly. Keeps it real simple, and we don't have to worry about any shenanigans that our opponent can find here. Okay, so now he blocks here. That's fine. We still have S13, which is really big. We can look at N5. Extending at N2 is really large. Playing something like P7, also really large. But let's go play. I like N2 because right now he can play N2, which it doesn't really force the capture, but it's a big enough move in its own right. And now we can play M3 into M4 and really break in. Okay. Yeah, I think I'm going to respond to that. I don't think this group is strong enough to endure if black plays G7, so we'll just go take the Hane here. Gives us more eye space, gives us the Atari here if needed. And now he's looking up to firm up the side. That's fine. Though B7's a really big move. I do want to play something like P7 or N5. Right, N5 looks to break in, also looks to capture these two stones, but B7 is just a really big move. So I'm going to play this. There's some potential follow-ups though. I thought B10 was going to be a follow-up to capture the stone, but it's not because he can just extend. Okay, but this is good. He blocks us here. That's fine. So that gives us timing to go play one of the moves over here that I wanted to play. Additionally, we can also look at Atarying this stone and then maybe breaking in this way. So yeah, let's go do that. Let's go Atari this stone. And if black wants to give us another Panuki, that would be pretty cool. And black is willing to give us that Panuki. But is saying I'm gonna make a lot of points here. So I think now is probably the time to do something about that. So do we want to play P7 or do we want to play N5? Let's go play N5 because this looks to capture these stones, which isn't tiny, and it looks to break in. So black has a difficult decision to make here. Does black extend to save these stones, or does black block? Black chooses to block. Okay. And so the question now is now the time to capture the N3 stones? I'm not so sure. Because we still have S13, which is really big, and we still have P7. Let's go play P7. Just looks to break in. It's already connected, and this will really reduce what's going on there. Yeah. So okay. So black response. That is an appropriate response. So now what do we want to do? We can consider extending because that threatens to kill this stone. We can look at some cuts over here, right? We could consider something like Q11. So actually, let's go play this bump here. Threatens to play Q11, or Q12 rather, which is a pretty annoying move. Threatens to cleanly capture this stone. So let's go see what kind mayhem we can cause here. Okay, let's go play here. Let's go play here. Kills this stone and looks to push through. We can potentially consider the Hane. So okay. So now the question is the stone actually worth capturing right now? And I really don't think it is. I really don't think it is. I think I'd rather go do some damage over here. So is S13 the cleanest way to do that? Is S14 the cleanest way to do it? Yeah, let's just play S14. We could look at R14, but then the attachment underneath is annoying. If we play here and the attach is on top, we can just automatically Atari that stone. So it's pretty straightforward there. Okay, so black extends. Yeah, that's fine. I do think we should connect here because it threatens to push through. Black getting this move would be pretty large. So let's go do that. I think we still have some options with extending here. So that seems reasonable. Okay. So black's looking to cut here or here. You want to know what? But this is great because when we play here, we can now look at S11 to capture that stone. So that's probably actually bigger than these two stones. So if black wants to take those, we can look at this. Actually, if we just extend, I think and black doesn't extend here, right? If we play here and black extends, we get to play this, and I think that gets more. I think that gets more than playing this. So yeah, let's go play here. I know it's really gross shape with this empty triangle, but we're actually just doing it because we want to extend. I don't think we're too concerned on liberties here. Black push, yeah, well, we're obviously going to block that, but I still think we're okay. And black, I think, agrees that he's in a little bit of trouble here. And I think this is worth responding to. The monkey jump would be pretty big. Playing here allows us to consider N17. So just a big endgame move, and that's fine. So now black comes back here. But doesn't this just work? Can't we just cut here? Oh no. We can't. It doesn't work. The empty triangle. we don't have enough liberties because of the empty triangle. It's so unfortunate. If we play here, black can cut, and this isn't going to work because if we try to capture this stone, black can play here and capture this, and if we attempt to connect here, black gets to capture. Big sad. Okay, so we just need to connect. At least it's Sensei. At least it is Sensei, but black realized it was Sensei, and that's fine. I think it's probably time to capture these two stones. Let's go capture these two stones. And doing some quick counting, I think we're still okay in this game. So I'm feeling pretty good. Black pushes, we are going to block, and we're probably just going to quickly transition into endgame. So black goes here. Yeah, just firming that up. So yeah, so we're just quickly transitioning into endgame now. I don't think there's too much more to be said about this game. Okay, that is fine. Obviously we can consider that, but actually I've been looking at some other stuff, and this move's actually really tricky because it sets up like a kind of a broken ladder situation where we can break into and connect these stones. So I'm actually going to play this right now because I think it's really dangerous if black lets us get H10, and then this will allow us to push through and Atari and do some good work there. And so black blocks there. But yeah, I'm pretty sure this works. now. Because again, if black plays here, we can Atari, and then connect, which threatens to get these two stones, threatens to revive everything. So black's going to be really careful here. And black agrees. Let's just capture these stones. This seems big enough. Because now we can consider the Hane, though black playing here would be pretty large. Yeah. Probably was cleaner just to play our R15. That's fine. We'll go and take the Atari, and then we can just connect underneath. Black plays here. Sure, that's fine. Do we want to play here? Do we want to play here? Let's just go play this. This is perfectly fine. Black extends, and that's fine as well. That's not Sente, though, because either way, how black pushes in, we can just connect. So I'm just going to go and capture this stone now, which kills this stone. So I still think we're in a really good position. And so at this point in time, I'm just going to go through the end game quickly without commentary, except for a couple interesting bits that come up. So here, I just wanted to point this one out. It's a little interesting because black can't block here because of the double, or because of this Atari into this Atari. So I liked that move. And then similarly here, there's a double Atari. So this cut does not work because then black will lose these two stones. So two back-to-back similar things here, and now we will just go see how the game ended up. And we will stop here. This goes on for quite a bit, but then the game's essentially over after this. So getting to the end of the game, the end of my recording is after I played this threat. The scoring is a little wonky here, but if we turn on score estimator, it has us up by 11.5 points. So yeah, so this was a fun game. My only complaint from my play is not recognizing how many points black could actually get in this area earlier, and probably around here. I don't know, I don't know why I'm necessarily playing a move like this when we can be looking at just really looking to break this up, right? Just maybe even just taking this cut, or coming back and just playing a move like this to ensure that black doesn't get any points here. Yeah, this is big, but we had a lot of opportunities to do things before black really was able to get a pretty reasonable territory here. I think black's big mistake was this capture, and I'm sure that's a move that black wishes he could get back, because if black plays something like this, yeah, we can capture, but then black just stays connected. Or if we descend, black can just play here, right? And again, if we capture, black is still connected, and we can't do this, right? Because again, we play here, we get captured, and this way, if we capture, black plays here and is Atariing 3 stones. So there was really nothing we could do here. Yeah, at this point, maybe this is Sente, but I'm not even sure. So yeah, so once black played here, this was kind of a pass move very early in the game, and then just kind of continued on. My opponent played really well for the rest of the game, I think, but this mistake did set him back, and we were able to mostly hold the lead throughout the entire game. I think I did get a little greedy with this move, but again, I think black had enough weaknesses nearby that it was fine. And then similarly, when we played here, this was another greedy move, but again, I think we're strong enough in this position, especially with these two headstones here that we can run to, that we were in a good position. But I like to see I continue to like to see the confusion that the Dragon Enclosure puts on the game. Right, like you'll notice, like he never really approached this. We're at move 60, like all but 4 moves are on the left half of the board, because it's like that's why I wanted to play this, right? Players around my skill level, we don't know how to handle stuff like this too well. Some of us do, but not all of us. So we get to start another tournament with a win, which is a tradition I am here for. I think I've actually won the opening round of every tournament I've gone to. Now that I've said that, I'm guaranteed to lose the next round of the next tournament that I play at, but not today. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Hoping to come out with the next 2 videos pretty quickly, but we'll see how much time I have with it. Anyway, as per always, thanks for coming out for another ride in Struggle Bus where every wheel is in a triangle. Have a good one, guys.